Hi, everyone. So, on this final day of January, we celebrate the feast of St. John Bosco. St. John Bosco was a priest who lived in Italy toward the end of the 19th century, so in the 1800s. He died in 1888. He was best known for his work with young people, particularly young boys who did not have uh, families or good families they came from, and so he created space for them to come together to have recreation together and to pray together, to learn more about their faith together. And he had such a heart for them, really the heart of the Father for them. And what he did for them was he helped them to grow as disciples and to grow in their faith in God. We all need this in a certain sense. In some way, we're all too young in our faith, where we have stopped growing in a certain area or another, where we perhaps don't have the sort of faith we should have in Jesus. And I think our whole lives are about coming to greater faith, coming to full adulthood in Christ. But that's the funny thing about that, is that we are also called to be childlike in our faith. So how do these two things mesh together? Well, I think that it means that we have to when we come to full maturity in faith, it actually means that we come to full dependence on Jesus. We stop depending on ourselves. Today we hear in the first reading from the letter to the Hebrews that we are surrounded by this great cloud of witnesses. That means all of the angels and saints, St. John Bosco being one of them, that we should then, because of that, persevere in our faith. Persevere in our faith and look to Jesus, who is the leader and perfecter of our faith. It's really about being pure of heart and only desiring one thing, really one person in Jesus, putting everything into his hands. That's what it means to be really more of an adult in our faith, is to be more childlike, more simplistic, and just putting it all in Jesus' hands. As our faith grows, the need for questioning stops. We don't need to even try to do anything for ourselves anymore. We know that Jesus has it in his hands. Jesus also shows us in the gospel today what childlike faith looks like, and he's ridiculed by others, and so he puts those people out. This is when Jesus is approached by this official for the temple whose daughter is dying. He goes toward his house, and he's approached there's a crowd pressing in on all sides for him, and the woman with the hemorrhage comes and touches his cloak, and she is healed. So Jesus is momentarily delayed with that, but is a beautiful interaction of faith, and sees her childlike faith and blesses it. But then they hear that this official's daughter has died, and so he still goes there. And with childlike faith in the Father, who does all things, who will heal all things, he goes up to that room. He puts out those who are naysayers, saying that he should leave. They laugh at him even. And he tells her to get up. Talitha cum, little girl, I say to you, arise. It's that kind of faith we are called to grow into, to be more like children in. Let's ask the Lord today that we might persevere in faith, that we might put all of our eggs in the one basket of Jesus, because it's from no one else do we find true salvation. No one else do we find true healing. He's the only one. He's the leader and perfecter of our faith.